Hello guys, hopefully you are doing well. Harry here, and today we're going to talk about Python built-in function, right? So this is our fourth video on Python built-in function, right? Right guys, so let's start, right? So first we're going to do ASCII, which stand for American Standard Code of Informative Interchange. So basically it is spelled as a ASCII. So what basically it do is like it is a character encoding standard that assigned a unique numeric codes to represent a character using electronic communication and computing, right? So basically it has 128 character and it is on 7-bit encoding schemes, right? So whatever the text and digit we use nowadays because of this cost of conduct is possible, right? Let me show you how is the table look like. Now you can see over here in front of the screen, those are the decimal numbers, right? From 0 to 127, those are the decimal, and hexadecimals are from here to here, right? So you can see here 7f start from 0. So there's a different code of conduct over here, right? So most probably what we can say, this is like a hexadecimal has a base of 16, right? So let's start, right? Let's move on. Let's start with the coding, right? So it will be easy for you guys to understand. So let's start with the escape Python built-in functions, right? So basically Python return a string that represent a readable versions of an object. When I'm going to run this code, it is mainly used for debugging and displaying non-ASCII characters as escape sequences. You can see over here, right? This is our I'm talking about, right? So basically when I'm going to run this, so you can see over here, so st remains same because it's been recognized. So this is not been recognized, so they have changed the code over here, right? And what I'm gonna do, if I say print over here, right? So if I use a small code, right, and I'm gonna close this, and most probably I'm gonna copy this, right? Right, so what I'm gonna do is I need to remove one of those, and now you can see over here, so that's give us this special character over here, right? So similarly with this, here's a Chinese who's saying world, right? So it says hello world. Now you can see over here, so those thing it converted into different code. Now if I print that again using the print command, those special code over there, now you can see over here, that's the Chinese again world. Similarly with the Hindi, now you can see on a Hindi there's quite long over here, right? And if I gonna print that again with the print function, now you can see over here, the thing is like appear like this, right? So basically you can see over here, now you know, like if you have a special character, especially this one which says world in Hindi, right? So basically it doesn't fall into any of those, right? So basically we have to understand that this kind of character will be generated once once our system doesn't able to understand through this ASCII code, right? And that is how it's work, right? And let's go with another one, same with the byte and the byte array. Basically if you use a byte array with 10, so in here they will give us a 10 characters over here, right? So byte array is a mutable sequences type that represented the collections of byte. Basically those are the byte side. This similarly to the bytes type, but unlike bytes, a byte array can be modified after creation, so we can modify this, right? So basically those are mutable. So let me show you why it is mutable, right? So if I run this, right, so if I try to index this, so most probably mutable are those which we can index and we can change the value. So immutable are those which we cannot change the value, like a tuple, right? So similarly when I index all of them, now you can see here A, B, C, D. So basically 65, 66, 67, 68, those are the ASCII characters, right? I will show you over here. So 65, 66, 67, 68 are A, B, C, D. Those are the characters over here, right? So once I run this, now you can see over here, those are the characters. So and I'm gonna do with the same with the 43, and 43 represent one of those character, and this is the positive symbols in mathematics, right? It's an addition symbol. So if I do this now, so you can see over here is show me positive, positive, right, after running this code. So another one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create 29 of those, right, using the same byte array function side. So after using 29 of those sequences, now you can see over here, I'm gonna index them again. So after indexing, you can see over here I have just managed to make welcome to my YouTube channel, right? And similarly, if I use another way to use this is like just say message equal to those strings which says welcome to my YouTube channel Analytical Harry. Now I'm gonna use a variables where I'm gonna use same byte array functions, right? So I'm gonna store into X and I'm gonna represent those data over here, right? So these are the data from message, right? So there's two argument, right? One is the message and another argument is our code type, right? So basically UTF-8, right? So I'm gonna print this using the byte array functions. Now you can see over here it just give me out welcome to my YouTube channel Analytical Harry, right? So basically those are the function, right? So hopefully you remember about the last video how I explained how these functions work, right? So those are two argument A and argument B, right? So and if I'm gonna run this again, right, and give us a print, now you can see over here same I have used just a string directly instead of storing into a message, right? So these are the two argument A and argument B, right? So let me show you how this argument work. If I say def, right, if I say addition, right, I just want to make it clear so you guys can understand more like more effectively, right? So let's say addition A and B, so that's our like Harry World and a UTF-8, right? So if I say return, right, return and return A plus B, right? So and I say addition, right, and I say 10 and 20, right? So similarly it's give me 30, right? So those are the argument we have presented like 10 and 20, right? So these are the byte array function which is hidden inside our backend coding, right? So yeah, so hopefully now you understand how we are using those two argument over here, right? In case if confuse you, so don't get confused, right? If anything happened or if you feel anything wrong, just Google it, right? Just do your research, right? Especially you are working with a function, you have to do more research and you have to be more careful while you are using what kind of data you are using especially, right? So yeah, so let's move on into the bytes now. Python inbuilt functions. So this one is quite easy. What I'm doing over here is I'm declaring a list, right, and I'm declaring those decimal characters over here, sorry, decimal numerical values over here. So 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, and what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the function again and I'm going to put all this list inside my function. Then it's going to give me a print. So I'm going to run this first, right, first and second block. Now you can see over here A, B, C, D, E. Now you can see over 65 to 69, right? So you can see over here 65 which is A and 69 which is E, right? So let's move on. Right guys, so now we're gonna move into the CHR, right? Basically that stands for the character. So if I say CHR 72, this will give me a print of H. You can see over here 72 stand for the H, right? So another I will say like HEX, which stand for the hexadecimal, right? So basically on the hexadecimal we have the base of 16, right? So the hex function take an integer as an argument and return a string represent for the hexadecimal value of that integer, right? So you can see over here, so you can see over here that's how it's represent, right? So when it's come to especially the character, if I put the same thing, right, if I say like 20, you can see over here, so the backslash and X which represent the character over here, right? So that is basically is about the escaping those sequences of hexadecimal, right? So over here those represent is the hexadecimal, right? So that's the little bit difference, right? Like you can see over here X and 14, right? So and X and 14, and those are same, right? So just the backslash and there's just a 0, right? So that's a different, right? So if I do opposite way around, right, so let's say hex equal to hex 20, right, and I'm gonna store into a decimal, right, DC, and I'm gonna use an integer and I'm gonna use a data as a hex and 16 as a base. I'm gonna print this. Now you can see over here that's give me 20, right? So that is about like reversing all those process, right? Okay guys, so let's move on to compile, right? So the compile function return the specific source as the code object ready to be executed. So basically you can see over here I'm gonna use x equal to compile, right? So basically over here I'm gonna print this, right? Print Harry, and there is a two more, test and able. So first argument, print Harry, is the source code that I'm like that you want to compile. In the case it is simple code, that's print the Harry, right? You can see over here, that's print the Harry. And when it's come to the test, right, it is a string that represented a file name or identifier for the source code, and it is used to debugging and error reporting purpose, right? And when it's come to the uh, this one, right, so it is basically that represented the completions of the mode in this case, right? So which indicated the source code of the singles expressions, and that will be evaluated, right? So basically now you can see over here there are the three things that is about our basically source code, then is the test, and is the evaluation size. So these are the three things which basically represent all of this, right? Right, so if I say like I want to print this one, right, so basically this will give me the two print, that will be 55 and 88. See, that is same, right? So basically we have used the test and we have used the executions over here, right? So basically we have executed, now we're gonna use a complex, right? So basically on a complex is really easy. You'll say like just a complex, right? Basically gonna define that, and I'm gonna say like 10, right? So it's gonna return me those complex number over here, right? You can see over here. So those 10 plus 0 z, those are our complex, right? And right, so let's move into the dictionary, right? So if I go to dictionary and I have to define something, right? So something we can say in the sense of variables, right? So let's say dictionary. So and I will say DICT, right? So that stands for the dictionary, right? And let's say something like name, right? Name can be like Harry, right? After that we can say like age, right? So age can be like let's say 25. Okay, and say city, oh sorry, city, right? So I will say string, right? So that's a Glasgow, right? And yeah, there is something wrong again. Yeah, so I forgot that. See, when we are defining a dictionary, we don't need to do this, right? Because that is the purpose of defining the dictionary, right? So just the string, just for the values, you know, like I run this. What's wrong over here? Oops, sorry. So basically it also needs to be equal to symbol, and this should be fine now. Yeah, that's perfect, right? So basically what we have defined over here, when we define a dictionary, so we have name equal to Harry, age equal to 25, and city equal to Glasgow, right? So basically what I can do now over here is I just want to print this, and it should automatically define my dictionary, right? So let's say there we go, right? So now you can see over here, so it has automatically generated the dictionary over here, right? So another one is let's do a few more, right? Before move on, let's do a few more, so I can show you how basically we can use this side. So if I say dictionary 2, right? So and I say something like DICT, right? And I'm gonna use oops, sorry, first to define the function, then I'm gonna use this one. Yeah, that's look fine. And something like one more tuple, and I will say name, right? Let's say name, and something inside this another tuple, right? And I will say something like age again, right? And I will say 25. Okay, so yeah, just this, right? So now I'm gonna print this. Right, that's the instant. There we go. Now you can see over here is basically it's automatically generated out dictionary again, right? So that's how the thing work over here. So if we have something, a different scenario where we have like missing keys, right? So let's talk about missing key. So and we're gonna use same fundamental again, right? So my dictionary, right? DICT. So I'm gonna open and close parentheses. So then I'm gonna define over here something like name, Oops. So let me make this properly first here. Name, right? Then I'm gonna define another uh wait, we're talking about the missing, right? So let's just say name, and let's say age, and let's say city. Okay, so and I will say is all are unknown. Okay. mm, right, so now most probably what it need to do is like it should put everything into the known, right? So basically our output should be everything should be unknown, right? So basically what's happened over here, I forgot to put one more thing. It's need to be like dot, right, from keys, right? So now everything should be defined over here as unknown, right? You can see over here. So our print is still not correct. Something is wrong over here, right? So where we make a mistake over here is in this one, because I put inside the tuples, right? So now you can see over here there's the tuple and the tuple, right? So the purpose of those doing this for like from keys is just to make this unknown, I'm like to assign this unknown into each of those keys, right? I'm like, because unknown is our value and those are our keys, right? So if we do this, now you can see over here, so name unknown, age unknown, and city unknown, right? I'm like that's how it's meant to be. Okay, so let's move on with another one. So with this function, this is known as dir, right? So basically how we can use this one is let me show you, right? If I say dir open and close, right? So it's give plenty of options over here. Now you can see over here this saying hexa, open, quit, x, right? So basically we're not gonna do anything with that, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a list first. Let's say number equal to 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so I'm gonna run this. You can see over here, now it is 1 2 3 4 5. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do like dir, then I'm gonna put that number inside this. Now you can see over here is basically, so those are the options we can play with our list data types what we have we have inserted inside our dir, right? So and dir functions, right? So basically append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, and sort. Those are the options we have available, right? So let's give us a few try, right? Because in future we're gonna use a lot of them, right, in our data manipulation. So basically we have num over here, right? And if I say like, okay, num dot append, so I'm gonna append something like 100, right, inside our num list. So if we call the num, now you can see over here we have 100 over here, right? So similarly if I say num1 equal to num dot copy, right? So I'm gonna run this and I'm gonna call num1. Now you can see over here that is 1 2 3 4 5 and 100, right? So there's another way we can also say like num2 equal to let's say let's say 100, right? Then we have 6 6 7 8 9 and 10. Okay, so we're gonna extend this, right? So basically what we can do, we can say like num1 dot extend, right, and say num2, right? So basically if we call num1 now, you can see over here now we have both those numericals value inside this, right? So 1 2 10 and that's 100 also, right? So the another one is pop. If I say dot pop, so basically it will remove the 10 which basically on the last digit number, right? So if I say num1, now you can see over here there's no more 10. So basically same way you can play around with this, remove, short, reverse, right? So when it's come to another type of data, if I say like, okay, dictionary, right, dictionary 1 equal to, let's say name, right, let's say Harry, right, and let's say age, right, and let's say 25. So if I'm gonna print this, right, I'm gonna say like dic and say sorry, oops, sorry, dir, right, and dic1, right. So now you can see over here as a dictionary what kind of options we got over here is like clear copy from key. Remember the from key we have used on our previous blog with the get items key pop items, right, and set default update and values. Those are the options we have over here, right. So yeah, div mode, right, this is the very cool stuff. Now we say div mode, and I'll say sorry, mod. Okay, so there's some mistake over here, just can put like this, div mode, right. So if I say 10 and 2, right, now you can see over here we have 5. So basically see, those 5 is our quotient and 0 is our remainder, right. So basically when we divided 10 by 2, that's 5 is our quotient and 0 is our remainder. So similarly if I say like a div mode, I'm gonna use 10, right, and I'm gonna use something like 3, then basically now you can see over here, so 3 times 3, that's give us 9, and that's 1 is our remainder, right. So similarly if I design my own div mode, right, so basically I have two argument a and b, right, similarly 10 and 3 over here, right, and I was like, this will give me my quotient and this will give me my remainder, right. So I'm gonna run this, right, I'm gonna call my function again. Now you can see over here that's the I'm like how is work if I say something like 2. Now you can see over here there's a similarity over here, right. So that's how the backend coding going behind this div Python inbuilt functions, right. So let's move on. So another is our help. So help is very easy, you can say help, and if I want to know about the div mode, how to use the div mode, I'm gonna open and close div mode, and I'm gonna open and close this help functions, right. Now I'm gonna run this. So basically okay, yeah, now you can see over here that's how it's work, right. So div mode is take 2 argument, right, and we return the tuples, right, and that is basically the same thing what I have did over here, right. That's how the algorithm has been designed, right. So if I say like okay help, and I'm gonna ask something about the data types, I will say str. So it will give me about what str is basically, right. So help on class str in modules, so built in. So you can see over here all those methods been defined over here, right. So that's really easy. When you are facing or you are stuck somewhere, just put a help over there and define your data types, or define your list, or whatever data structure you are playing with at, or whatever the algorithm you're working on, especially when the function is always show the structure of the functions, right. If I say like okay I want to define some function, let's say sum, now you can see over here that's how this work, right. Sum, iterate, and sorry, iterables, and you can see over here say start equal to 0, and it's return the sum of a start value plus and iterables of numbers, right. So it's defined everything over here, right. So even you do something like this, right. So now it's also say like help on list object, right. So see how smart is this, right. It's super smart, and it's show you all those methods inside your class, see. And another is a enumerator. So this is one of my favorite, and you're gonna use into your data analysis task every day. Enumerator to print out all those I'm like all those special characters, or your strings, or your values, or whatever stored inside your data structures, right. So let's say like fruit, we have apple, banana, and mango, those are our strings. So I'm gonna use for index fruit, that is like I and j in enumerators, right, in fruits basically. So starting with 1, it's gonna print all of them with the help of f string. Now you can see over here index 1 2 3, right. So now it says fruit, apple, banana, and mango, those are fruit, right. Fruit and apple, mango, banana, which basically j, right. This is our j, and this is our I, which stand for the index over here, right. So this is super easy, right. So for enumerator you can use into into anywhere, especially you can use, especially you will use with the dictionary, right. So I most probably use the dictionary. Also you can use also with lot of things, especially when it's come to pandas data frame, you can use over there also, right. And let's do with another one, right. So that is known as evaluations, right. So basically now what we're gonna do is x and y is gonna be a 5 and 10. So when we're gonna print this, now it's gonna evaluate both of them. So what we're gonna do help, right. So eval, right. So now you can see over here help on built-in function eval in module built-in. So eval resource global known local known, right? So basically evaluate that given sources in the context of global and local variables, right? So it's basically evaluate the global and the local variables, right guys. So let's move on, right? So another is execute, right? Now you can see over here we have a code block which contain our doc string, right, which says for I in range 1 to 5, right, and print I. So it's gonna print 1 2 3 and 4, right, and we're gonna use, instead of print, we're gonna use exec, that's stand for execute, right, which is our Python built-in function. So we're gonna run this. Now you can see over here is print us 1 2 3 and 4, right? So let's say help, right, and it's say exec, right, and we're gonna print this. Now you can see over here it's a Python built-in functions, right, and exec in modules built in, right, the source globals equal to none and local equal to none, execute the given source in the context of global and local, right? So it's basically is execute on the given source which is in the context of global and local, right? So basically this is how you can use this all functions which I have shown you today on the video, right? So the best thing you can do is you can do your own experiment, and we probably gonna use most of them into our text manipulations while we are working on pandas data frame. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed watching this video, and I will provide all these files on the link below the description side. You can download this file from GitHub, and basically if you want to ask me any questions, if you have any problem, just feel free to contact me on LinkedIn, right, or you can put anything into the comment sections, right guys. So I will see you on next video, right? So you have a nice day, right? Cheers and peace.